Hey everyone, Jordan here with 9 to 5 Toys, and today I wanted to kind of go behind the scenes and show you some of the different tools, some of the different products that I use to light a lot of the scenes here in my studio. So we're going to look at 5 different tools, 5 different tips that you can use to light up your space in a really affordable way. So let's check it out. Thanks for watching 9 to 5 Toys. Be sure to like, subscribe, and enable notifications with the bell icon so you don't miss any upcoming videos. So here's a look at my typical setup. Obviously you can see I have the camera and tripod and slider there, and I just have a Fuji sitting on it. That's not what I normally use. Then we have the main key light, the softbox. Usually the product sits right in the middle of the table. And then sometimes I'll have this rim light over here we can turn on. See a little boost on the side there. And then we have the little twinkle lights in the background. So the first tip and the most important part of my setup is the Limo Studio. It's a 85 watt CF bulb in this 2x2 foot softbox. It's a super affordable 2x2 softbox, and actually the one I bought came in a kit with 2, but I really only ever used the one. And actually the kit that I bought I can't find on Amazon anymore, but there is a single one you can buy. Yeah, it's a really simple, really effective little setup there. And the bulb is an 85 watt CFL, which equates to like 350 watt equivalent. So it's really bright, and the white balance rating is about 6,500 Kelvin, which is pretty cool. So make sure you set your white balance to that. But because my products are usually a little bit smaller, this provides a nice big soft light to lighten most of those with. So that's the main light that I'm using. So I think you can get something like this on Amazon for like $38 or $40. So I'll link that down in the description, or you can go over to the article and check all those out as well. The second tip, and another integral part of my setup, is in the background I have these twinkly fairy lights that I found on Amazon. That's a super simple little fairy light you can get for like $10. I tried a couple different versions, one of which was battery powered, which, I mean, they work great. You don't have to have them plugged into anything, but then depending on how much you use them, you do have to replace the batteries. So the ones I have here are just USB powered. So I have that little power strip right there. I just have them plugged in, and that makes it super easy to use. Fairy lights are super affordable. They just add a nice little bit of interest to the background. Obviously the bokeh with the full frame camera just looks great. And yeah, just picks up, just adds a lot of interest. And in addition to those fairy lights, I also have this little desk lamp from IKEA. And both of those are a pretty warm color temperature. So that contrast with the key light just provides a nice warm background that adds a little bit of interest, I think, and it looks really nice. And sometimes if you don't want any light in the background, or if you just want a clean background, obviously you can turn those off. And for me, I have this one wall, it's painted black, which adds a nice bit of contrast, bit of interest. But then the rest of the walls in the studio are white. So depending on what product I'm shooting and what I want the background to look like, I can choose a different wall to get some nice contrast and get a bit of interest there. Another light that I use quite often with products, not as much when I talk to the camera, is the fill/rim light. This is a little ICANN bicolor LED here, and as you can see, it's kind of offset in the back. And what that does is that just adds a little bit of pop of light here on the side of the product to light that up, and just adds a bit of interest. Lets you see some of the definition on the product on this side that the key light isn't getting. And there it is turned off. You can see that one side is quite a bit darker, hard to make out any detail, but if we turn it back on, that just helps to add a little kick of light and make out a little bit more of the product there on the side. And like I said, that's like a Icon LED bicolor light. It came with a stand and a kit of 2. So that's a little bit more expensive and maybe not as necessary, but you could get another one of these Limo Studio lights to kind of pop on the side. Or if you even have a bit of white poster board or white cardboard or something like that, you can use that to kind of fill in the side. So as you can see, there is a little bit of light there on the right side again, and that's because we set up this white plywood here that we've painted white. So that just reflects the light from the key light back onto the product, and just looks really nice. And just for reference, here it is without that reflection, and here it is with that set back up. The fourth tip is if you're trying to shoot overhead. Here's my setup and how I do that. So I'll do this when I'm unboxing different products, or sometimes it's nice to just kind of walk through, the features of a product from above. So this is what I use for my overhead setup. It's very simple. I don't even know, this isn't even branded, but one of these cheap backdrop stands that you can find on Amazon. I'll link one down in the description below. And that's the main stand that I use. Then if you pick up a camera clamp that clamps onto the backdrop stand, and one of these adjustable friction arms. I think this is a little 6-inch one, and I'll link those down in the description. That's a really easy way to make an overhead rig that you can adjust pretty easily to get, whatever setup you want. And as you can see with this setup, I'm using the same key light. I have it raised up and angled down. Right now I'm using the little fill light, the ICANN bicolor. So here is where it's pretty handy to have 2 lights. It's just nice to have something on the other side to kind of fill in the shadows from the key light from this overhead setup. So my 5th and final tip is using different cheap surfaces to put the product on when you're shooting it. This just changes it up. Obviously, I'm doing like every single video in the studio, so it can all start to look the same. But having different surfaces you can put it on does help to kind of mix that up and add some different interest to it. The main one that I use is this just piece of black poster board, which just adds a nice bit of contrast. Obviously, depending on the product, it can really make it pop. But yeah, that's something that I like to use, and there are tons of different options out there. There's some great companies that make really affordable kind of vinyl prints that are made to look like different wood textures or different concrete textures. I know my wife has purchased some of those for the food photography that she does, and I'll link those down in the description below. Well, thanks for watching this video. Like I said throughout, most of these products are going to be linked down in the description. You can also head over to 9to5toys.com to read the article, which will have some photos and more descriptions in there as well. I hope you enjoyed this type of video. Obviously, it's a little bit different than our normal product reviews, but this is stuff that I find really interesting, and if you do too, let us know in the comments below. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing. This is Jordan with 9to5 Toys.